Welcome to the Draft Professor, everybody. My name is Jim. I am here with Rohith, and Rohith and I just met backstage here a few minutes ago. We're going to be doing some San Francisco 49ers mock drafts. But before we get started with the mock drafts, Rohith, it is your first Draft Professor podcast. I would like to say welcome to the channel. How are you today?
Well, thank you for the invite. Happy to be here. Doing pretty good and excited to get to some mock drafts.
Yeah. Um, so Rohith and I were talking backstage a little bit about like the format of the podcast. And we're going to be doing some 49ers mocks. But Rohith, what is your overall, let's say, assessment of the 49ers roster and what they need to accomplish early in the upcoming draft?
I think it's no secret that the Niners are one of the oldest rosters in the NFL, so getting younger is obviously a priority, and the draft is easily the best way to do that. But what's probably most important, at least to me personally, is finding an heir apparent for left tackle because we don't know how much Trent Williams has left in the tank. There's also that contract situation going on. And eventually, somewhere down the line, get a long-term X receiver that you have a bit of sort of cost control with the draft picks. And if it's a first round, you also get that fifth year option. I'm sorry. So offensive line, probably a younger wide receiver one, and just trying to get younger overall.
We're going to pull up the Draft Professor Simulator. We're going to do San Francisco, and we're going to do this thing here called the First Round Fanatic Challenge. So Rohith and I are going to go through 5 1-round drafts for San Francisco and kind of look at the board, talk through Rohith's board. Um, every team on this simulator has its own draft board. So everything that we're doing here will affect the 49ers draft board. Um, so we'll quickly go through round one just so you can see the players that were taken ahead of you. Um, Mendoza, Reese, Maui Noah, Bain, Tate, Freeling, McCoy, Styles, Bailey, Woods, Downs, Delane, Love at 13, Tyson, Sadiq at 15, Lemon, Lomu, Thieneman at 18, CJ Allen, Avion Terrell, Vega Ioane, Spencer Fano at 22, Max Ihenekor, Denzel Boston, Keldrick Falk, Chase Basantis, 49ers on the clock at 27. What do you think of those first 26 picks, Rohith?
There's a lot of offensive line, a whole lot of tackles off the board. And honestly, that makes it easy for me. I take the best tackle on the board available, Caden Proctor. And as someone who's a Bam alum, I'm also a bit biased.
So we selected Proctor. The simulator immediately starts a second mock. And Rohith, here will be the theme for the next half hour. Proctor got sniped 4 picks before you're on the clock. What do you do?
Again, it looks like there's been a huge run at the tackle position. And as much as I'd love to see the Niners go for position need here, I think seeing Max
Ahinakor.
Ahinakor, I think that's the easiest no nonsense pick to make.
So we went with Proctor, then Ahinakor. Third mock comes.
And now
Proctor
all
and
all the
Ahinakor.
all the tackles are off the board.
Blake Miller is still here.
Yeah, not necessarily too big of a fan.
Okay.
But what's interesting about this is that because of the tackle run, you get a bit of windfall with the receivers. And now you can kind of change your plans a bit. And I think Omar Cooper Jr. here, tremendous body control, tremendous run after the catch. Everybody's mocking to the Niners when you look at stuff like Pro Football Focus in the NFL. I'd say it's a match made in heaven.
Reason he's at the top of the board. So when you see a player at the top of the board, it means other people have mocked him to the Niners. So this entire simulator is a popularity contest, right? It's about who does everybody else pick at this spot. So in this mock, Proctor, Ihenekor, and Cooper hit the board at 27. So Terrell's here, Chris Johnson's here, Blake Miller's the best offensive tackle, Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, the best receivers, Chase Besantis is dropped. Thoughts on where else you would look on the board?
I mean, interesting, especially since Bryce Huff retired. The Niners need someone to bookend Bosa, especially on passing downs, obvious passing situations, and passing third downs, because Michael Williams will be on the edge on first downs and second downs, and more of the we know they're going to run the ball downs. And then he slides inside on third down. So edge is something I am interested in. However, I'm not sure if I want to go edge first round. But seeing Denzel Boston, 6'4", height, weight, speed, I like Boston here.
And I like the way that you're kind of bouncing around from position to position. You're kind of explaining your decision because that's what this simulator and this algorithm is all about. So you can see in the fifth mock, it's a little bit different. So Proctor, Ihenekor, Cooper, and Boston are off the board before the 49ers pick at 27. Fano and Lomu dropped. TJ Parker also dropped. I don't think any of those three were available before.
Yeah, they
What do you
weren't.
think? Who do you like out of this group here?
Honestly, it's Lomu. I've seen the guy play at Utah. He can move. Everybody likes him for a good reason. And again, having a strong left tackle, and especially with that fifth-year option, that's going to do wonders for cap situation as well. And you get a good left tackle who can learn from Williams. I think it's a no-brainer for me.
When you and I were chatting just on Twitter prior to coming on the podcast, you had no idea what you were walking into. So first, we just finished the first round challenge. Like, I love the way that you talk through that. Out of these five players, Proctor, Ihenekor, Cooper, Boston, Lomu, which of those guys is your favorite pick for the 49ers?
I mean, I got to put my Allen bias aside here. It's got to be Omar Cooper Jr. Probably in my opinion, probably the best hands in the draft, and crazy body control, which is honestly not really much of what San Francisco has had over the years outside of Kittle, who's made some crazy grabs over his career. He's out for at least the first few weeks with an Achilles. So getting someone with some crazy body control that you can kind of put it in the area code and it's going to be a chance, I like that.
So we are going to continue with some people call it the snipe mode. We're going to call it a second round fanatic challenge for the 49ers. So now Rohith and I are going to talk through 10 two-round San Francisco drafts. It will not let Rohith select the same player in round 2 twice. So it should be the same round 1 that we had before. I'm quickly scrolling back to look to see if anything drastically changed. And the way that it would change is that if another user was using the simulator right now, users can change these picks if they do enough mocks. So it looks like it's the same round 1 the first time through. And you see Cooper and Proctor there, as well as TJ Parker. What would you do?
I think, again, because it's a big run at offensive line, it's got to be Proctor. I don't want to lose out on a quality offensive lineman just for another position of need.
Okay, so then we get to round 2 at pick 58. You can see some edges at the top of the board. So Derek Moore, Malachi Lawrence, Gabe Abacus have frequently been picked here. who would you want to look for? Like the best wide receivers right now look to be like Skylar Bell, Ted Hurst, Antonio Williams. Um, we could look. There might be more guys on the second page,
Yeah.
but thoughts on where you would look?
I mean, honestly, like after the first round, my personal philosophy whenever I usually do mock drafts is what is my immediate top priority? That's what I look for in the first round. And every subsequent round after that, I usually think either in terms of best player available or position of need. And honestly, in both cases, we got both with Derek Moore. Someone who can bookend the edge with Bosa, come in on third downs when Michael Williams comes inside. I think the Niners could work some magic with Moore.
If you're picking the player at the top, you're agreeing with the San Francisco people that I've done this podcast with before.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of us kind of have the same ideas about the team, so I'm not necessarily surprised.
For me, because you'd be surprised. Not like Browns fans. I've had three Browns people on. There's a fourth one coming on in 2 hours. Nobody has agreed on pick six yet. Not a single one.
I mean, sometimes when you have a lot of positions of need, you kind of go into that sort of we could do this, we could do this, we could do
Yeah.
this. Luckily, as a fan of a team who doesn't necessarily have that many glaring needs, it's easier to focus in on one or two positions.
Okay. So the simulator starts a second mock. If you remember the first time you came in, it was Cooper, Concepcion, and Proctor was further down. You
Yeah.
notice how Proctor is higher than Casey Concepcion now?
Yeah, I think
It's
it's
because you've
adapting to
picked him three times.
the
So what would you do here?
I mean, given the way how I saw the big board work in the previous one, it still had a few tackle options. So now I feel a bit safer taking Omar Cooper Jr., knowing that there is a legitimate chance that we're going to get some more offensive linemen in the next round.
So, because you saw Tiernan here last time.
Yep.
Play the simulator, do what you do.
I guess we're all it's birds of a feather, I guess.
You like Tiernan here to the 49ers in round two.
Yeah. And
Love
again,
that pick too.
young tackle, learn from Trent for a year, maybe two.
And like Tiernan, you might even be able to get him some snaps at guard. So while you're waiting for Trent Brown to retire, he could still be giving you snaps at guard. So I
Yeah,
love
because
that
left
pick for
guard
the
is also an
49ers.
issue for us.
Yeah. So I like that Cooper Tiernan one. It immediately starts the third mock. So here you're looking at Cooper, Denzel Boston, Max Core at the top. Terrell is here. Basantis is here. Brazel's here. And I'm looking. Yeah. Thoughts?
What's surprising is that I'm seeing only this for the second time Denzel Boston. A lot of the times, what I've seen is Boston goes higher up to someone like either the Rams who are trying to get AJ Brown. So maybe Rams fans think, okay, another height, weight, speed guy, another red zone threat for Stafford. So seeing Boston here is a pleasant surprise. I'm going with Denzel Boston.
So we go Denzel Boston round one. If we go to round two, what would you do? And oh, by the way,
Lawrence.
in round two, what the simulator has done, sorry for interrupting,
Oh, yeah, you're
Derek
good.
Moore and Caleb Tiernan have been sniped 10 picks before you're on the clock.
Yeah, that's a bit frustrating, not exactly surprising, but Malachi Lawrence here is a pleasant surprise. So, yeah.
So we go Malachi Lawrence. So that mock was Denzel Boston, Malachi Lawrence. Simulator starts a fourth mock. And in the fourth mock, you have Boston, Cooper, and Ihenacor here. what would you do?
Here's another interesting one because now you have still three big name receivers on the board, meaning we're probably going to get another windfall of receivers into round two, meaning Ahinakor creates good value for the Niners into round two.
So we'll go Heenacore in round one. And then we get to round two. Chris Bell, Blake Miller are both here, as is Gabe Lucas. And we can look at the other wide receivers, which include Skylar Bell, Ted Hurst, Malachi Fields, Jacoby Lane, Antonio Williams would be the best on my board. There might be some other guys that you like.
Wasn't Bell the one that injured his knee at Louisville recently?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think going Gabe Jacas. Yeah. Yeah, Gabe Jacas here makes the most sense to me. Go just build the trenches.
Was like if you how do I want to say it? If you need immediate impact from your second round pick, it won't be Chris Bell. But if you have a
Yeah.
year to wait, you're getting a first round talent at the end of round two.
Yeah.
So, okay, so
That
Sanford, oh, go ahead.
I know, but for me it's just I've seen this team draft way too many guys with some injury concerns over the years and I'm just like the healthier they are the better it is for us.
Okay. So you're at pick 27 here, and you get to see Cooper, Ahinakor, and Proctor. Which of those three guys do you like the most?
I just want to go on another quick tangent. I'm interested to see why there are so many corners at the top of the big board for the Niners. Because honestly, I personally like the corners we have. Maybe with Raheem Morris, we're going to see guys like Renardo Green take a different step. Maybe Saleh's scheme didn't exactly work with Green. Green was pretty solid under Sorensen in 24, took a bit of a step back in 25. So I'm kind of surprised to see corner that high. But getting back to this, I honestly, yeah, Omar Cooper Jr., because suddenly seeing not that many receivers kind of has me a bit spooked.
We do Omar Cooper Jr. in round one. In round two, Derek Moore, Caleb Tiernan, Malachi Lawrence, and Gabe Lucas have all been drafted before you're on the clock at pick 58. What would you do?
And here, give me Josiah Trotter out of Mizzou, because we just got Greenlaw back. Warner coming back from the ankle, still probably one of the smartest players in all of football. Two great players to learn from.
So we are in, I believe, this is the sixth of the 10 mocks. So we see Cooper, Proctor, Casey Concepcion at the top.
I
PJ
mean,
Parker as well.
honestly, I like Proctor here again.
So we'll take Proctor. And the more we pick him, the more he moves up. So we
Yeah.
do a second round challenge. He might be at the top of the board by the time that we're done. So in this one, Anthony Hill fell to pick 58. So Anthony Hill, Blake Miller, anybody else that
That
you would be
seeing Hill was a massive surprise, and I think that's where my brain immediately went. Seeing that guy that low is a very pleasant surprise.
some people have a third round grade on him. So not everybody is round two high on Anthony Hill.
Yeah,
So
but I mean, but at the same time, when you get to pick 58, that's a very late second, so it's not like you're reaching too far.
well, I think that's a great pick. Between positional need for the team as well as the player value, I completely agree, Rohith. But the point I was more trying to make is how many teams are going to be taking a linebacker in round two? And
That's also
between
true.
Trotter, Hill, Allen, and then, for example, like the Colts will likely like Golday more than they'll like Trotter
Yeah.
based on how they draft. So a lot of this simulator is, does the player fit the team? So, like the Colts have a need at linebacker, but which linebacker fits that need the best based upon how the
Yeah.
team drafts? Um, so we're back to round one at pick 27 for the 49ers. You see Proctor and Cooper tend to be the two favorites here.
Yeah.
Anybody else that you want to talk about?
I mean, not really, mostly because when it comes to the first round for me personally, it's got to be either a wide receiver or an offensive lineman. But because of the way the Niners have approached free agency, you could hypothetically trade up, but that's obviously not the conversation here. So I'm just going to leave that at that. So, given what I see at 27, I think Proctor is, again, the easiest choice for me personally to make.
So we do Caden Proctor round one. When we get to round two, so like Brandon Cisse dropped. Now you're not probably not looking at a corner. So is there another player that you like in round two after you took Caden Proctor in round one?
But can you go back to like the first overall best player available?
Yep.
Yeah, all. Thank you. Honestly, here's the interesting part of this. We do have a host of corners, but we also don't know what Raheem Morris thinks. He is a coordinator who really likes to mix things up. So for all we know, he might like a guy at this position that he thinks will fit better for his coaching style. So that's what gets me curious. And I mean, best player available still seems to be CC at that point. So I'd say go for it,
You
which
like
probably
Cisse
makes
over Miller?
yeah.
Okay. For Cisse in that one. And I
Oh,
like how you kind of had a feeling that there wasn't going to be too many players that were better further down. Um, so in this one, Cooper, Boston, Ihenacor are there. Besantis is here. Tristan Miller is here. Zion Young, Cassius Howell.
wait,
Thoughts on what you
Zion
would do?
Young dropped that far this time?
So he's seventh. So I think he's been there most of the time.
Oh, I think I've just been pigeonholing on offensive line that I just completely just blanked it out.
It's all right. Blame it on the host. So do you like Zion Young over Cooper, Boston, and Ihenacor?
I wouldn't necessarily say that, but he is a great athlete, so I am very, very tempted. But again, looking at the way round one played out, seeing Ahinacor, I'm thinking it's got to be Ahinacor. I don't want to risk losing out on a top level tackle.
Okay. So we do Ahinacor round one. We'll get to round two. This is the eighth mock that we've done. So in this one, Emmanuel McNeil Warren fell.
Yeah, and
So
that's what immediately jumps out to me because we have Jair Brown, we have Malik Mustafa, we have Marcus Siegel. All of them are kind of more suited to strong safety, which I mean they can attack the ball. They're pretty decent in coverage, but at the same time, they're not exactly the greatest in coverage. We've seen a few too many communication busts, especially after Warner went down. I think McNeil Warren here is a bit better as a free safety, which is also a pretty big position of need. And seeing him here is a pleasant surprise.
definitely at the end of the first, right? Or excuse me, end of the second.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so this is mock number 9. So this is 9 of 10. Doing a second round challenge, which is 10 unique 2-round drafts. At pick 27, you're looking at Omar Cooper, Max Ihenacor, Denzel Boston. Who do you like there? And then Zion Young is also still there.
Yeah. I think I'm going to Unicor again.
Okay. So we go Ihenacor round one. We get to round two. So this one, D'Angelo Pons dropped. He wasn't there before. What would you do after taking Max Ihinokor in round one if your favorite round two picks are all off the board, which include McNeil Warren, Cisse, Hill, Trotter, Akis, Lawrence, Tiernan, and more?
Pons is one of the better coverage corners in this draft. But what scares me is he's not exactly the tallest, and we don't necessarily have too much height at corner. But what I did see, the Florida State defensive lineman, suddenly I forgot his name,
Jackson Jr.
Jackson Jr. Yeah, I'd go with Daryl Jackson Jr. Add more depth to that interior defensive line. Rotate between him, Collins, West.
This is the 10th and final mock. So if you notice, Ihinokor is now higher than Cooper.
Yep.
It's because you picked him enough that he moved up. So
but what also shows is that this time there wasn't that much of a run at tackle, but there was a run at receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And now that makes it a bit easier on me again. So I'd go Omar Cooper Jr. here.
We go Omar Cooper Jr. in round one. We get to round two, and your favorite round two players have been Derek Moore from Michigan, Caleb Tiernan from Northwestern, Malachi Lawrence from UCF, Gabe Yankus from Illinois, Josiah Trotter from Missouri, Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas, Brandon Cisse from South Carolina, Emmanuel McNeil Warren from Toledo, Daryl Jackson Jr. from Florida State. They're all off the board. Dominique Orange has dropped. I don't know that he was always here. Brian Parker Jr. has fallen to the end of round two. Ted Hurst is here at the end of round two. What are your thoughts?
I mean, the immediate thing that pops out of my mind is I'm not really looking at receiver, but now it becomes a question of, do I want to bolster the trenches or do I get help at safety? And honestly, with the way we've made our moves in the offseason, and even looking back at how we played last season, a lot of our defensive back play was solid when you consider the context that we had practically no pass rush to speak of after Bosa went down week 3. Michael Williams went down week 8 against the Giants. And then Bryce Huff sustained a hamstring injury week 7 against Atlanta that didn't necessarily heal. And now obviously he's gone now. So edge is something I'm thinking of, but seeing what the defense kind of looks like, can you back to I'm thinking Blake Miller here. Just get the offensive line a bit more sorted.
So we just did 10 two-round mocks. So Rohith, again, you didn't know what you were signing up for when you and I messaged on Twitter. Thoughts on that exercise?
It definitely challenged me a lot more to think about how I want to approach the second round. But what I like about this is that you let me pick a player in the first round so I could immediately think, okay, so here's what I did in the first round. How am I going to pivot in the second? And then the way that it's, every single time I do when the player I picked before is off the board, now I'm thinking, okay, if he's not there, where do I go from here? But what I kind of noticed is that it was always just offensive line or wide receiver in the first round and then kind of just best player available in the second, which I think is what the Niners should do personally.
I like the way that you talk through all of them. So when I designed the simulator, I designed it more for people to talk through their scenarios, right? Because, I mean, you just talked through 10 two-round drafts and you did it in about 15 or 20 minutes. You were able to talk through the scenarios as to what your logic was. That was why I designed it the way that I did. So I appreciate you going through that. We have time to do like some 4 round mocks for the 49ers.
Yeah, this should be fun.
So we're going to do San Francisco. We're going to do 4 rounds, and we're going to turn on a button here called Fanatic Mode. So we're only going to do 4 round drafts. So that 4 means we're going to do 4 round drafts.
Yep.
Okay. Now if we did, you can bump this all the way up to 8, but if we did 8, we would be here for like another hour, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to
Yeah.
stick with 4 round San Francisco drafts. Fanatic mode means Rohith will not be able to select the same player in any round.
So every single mock is going to be entirely different.
And the advantage of turning on Fanatic mode is it's going to make other people using the simulator mock draft against your 4 best picks in rounds 1 through 4. So it will make it also harder for everybody else that uses the simulator. And I'll explain more of that after we conclude. So we get to round 1, and you're looking at Omar Cooper Jr., Caden Proctor, and then Zion Young is also here. What would you do between Proctor and Cooper here?
I mean, I think I'd go with Proctor here because, again, looking back at what we did free agency, we just got Mike Evans. You can at least kick the can for the needed wide receiver at least back 1 round. Makes it a bit less, stressful.
The players that you liked are sitting right at the top of the board. You notice that?
Yep. So
Okay.
it's learning as we do these mocks.
Oh, yes, it is.
I like
So
Derek Moore here.
you like Derek Moore. That one
Yep.
didn't surprise me. So you go Caden Proctor, Derek Moore, rounds 1 and 2. What do you think you want to do in round 3?
We just traded our third rounder to Dallas for Osa
Okay.
Odigizua. So I'm not
You,
sure. I'm not sure if this is the one that we traded or the other one. Is it updated for all trades?
127. You're right. You traded a third. We're already into round 4. So we're at
Okay.
127 here.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what would you do at 127 if you're the 49ers after taking Caden Proctor and Derek Moore?
Harold Perkins out of LSU. Bolster that
Okay.
linebacking core. Maybe an heir apparent for Warner.
Okay. And then you have one more 4th round pick. What would you do?
I mean, now things get interesting because honestly, I haven't really looked at the receivers past the first 2 rounds because I've kind of pigeonholed myself into thinking the Niners have to go
Got it.
receiver in the first 2.
I'm gonna give you one here. You're gonna want to check out Deshaun Stribling from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's gonna be able to play X. He's got the size, he's got the speed to get vertical, he's gonna block his ass off.
I like the sound of that third one because
Yeah,
Shanahan loves his receivers that can block.
this is a Shanahan receiver. But in addition to that, when you watch him, you have to check out the 2024 Oklahoma State tape because Oklahoma State used him in ways that would give you flashbacks to Debo.
And in
They,
a way
they
that
lined
helps
him
us
up
keep
everywhere.
McCaffrey fresh.
Yes. So he can line up in the backfield. He can line up in the slot. You can put him out at X. He's going to block his ass off. Now, when he went to Ole Miss, you're going to see some games at the beginning of the year. He only had 2 catches. Then Lane Kiffin gets fired. And when the new coach just lets the players play, Stribling had an awesome college football playoff. So I'm gonna recommend Deshaun Stribling to the 49ers in round 4. I don't think he lasts to round 4 in the draft, but there's not a lot of people talking about Stribling right now.
Yeah, that's
Um,
definitely, a pleasant surprise.
yep. Okay, so Proctor, Moore, Perkins, Stribling, one more 4th round pick. Is there a position that you'd want to look at?
I mean, not particularly at that point because we got an offensive line, we got a receiver. I don't necessarily like too many of the safeties that come in, but if you go back to the first. Yeah, I like Zane Durant here. I'm surprised he lasted this long. I was tempted to go for him with the first fourth, but
There's even another fourth. We still have one more pick.
oh wow, I completely
So the
forgot that we
40
have.
the 49ers have 4 fourth round picks. I just learned something.
Yep, and two of them are back to back.
Yep.
And at this point, I'd go with Jacoby Thomas, take a flyer at safety.
So the simulator's going to start the next mock. And what you're going to see in this mock is that Proctor was sniped 4 picks before you.
Yep.
Boston.
I mean, between Cooper and Boston, honestly, if either of those two are there, I'd be banging the table if I was John Lynch. Get one of those guys. I'm going with Boston here. Big body wide receiver.
Boston in round 1. When we get to round 2, 4 picks before you were on the clock, Derek Moore has been sniped from you.
And since I won wide receiver round 1, Caleb Tiernan sitting right there, wide receiver and offensive tackle in round 2.
Do we get Boston Tiernan? What are you thinking in round 4? Got to get an edge?
The two biggest needs are already done with. So first, it's looking at how the big board shakes out. But I'm thinking edge, maybe some extra defensive tackle depth.
So edges, Mikel Kamara's here in round 4. I think right now, I would say, without scrolling too much further down, it's probably Mikel Kamara, Wesley Williams for me are probably the 2 best edges.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Plus Kamara has some championship pedigree. He helped Indiana win that amazing national title. So I like Kamara here.
Okay. So Boston, Tiernan, Kamara. We have 3 more 4th round picks. Thoughts?
Spears Jennings.
So you like Spears Jennings? So that's interesting that other 49ers people have picked him too. So I'm beginning to see a trend with the safeties because Thomas and Jennings are definitely box type safeties. So I'm seeing a trend.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us Niners fans are kind of hesitant to go safety in rounds 1 or 2 because of how deep these wide receiver and offensive line draft classes are.
Can you go back to oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, can you go back to the overall? Yeah. Wait, how on earth is Anthony Lucas still here? Wait, hang on.
Round 4.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we are in round 4. I completely forgot that. Yeah, I'll take Lucas. Go edge.
Very big edge.
Yeah.
So this is Boston, Tiernan, Kamara, Jennings, Spears Jennings, Lucas.
I don't mind the double dip at edge. We could use all the depth we could get.
So Keyshawn Elliott, Torian York, Aiden Fisher is here at linebacker. Kendall Daniels is here at linebacker.
But one thing I saw, Chandler Rivers out of Duke. I liked him. I liked him in college. I thought he had a pretty decent combine. Personally, seeing him here, I'm thinking, okay, we can take a flyer on him.
Well, Simulator is going to start the 3rd mock for Fanatic mode, and what you'll see is that Proctor and Boston have been sniped before you're on the clock. My instinct is you're going to pick Cooper.
Yep.
Okay, so we do Omar Cooper in round 1. We're going to get to round 2.
I mean, you've already figured it out by now. I keep all my cards on the table.
Okay, so Lawrence and Akis are at the top of the draft board, and then Trotter and Jackson you've liked previously as well.
Yeah, I'm taking Trotter. Because this edge class is pretty deep, so even when we get into round 4, there's a pretty good chance we're going to have some solid picks there.
Okay, so we go Omar Cooper Jr., Josiah Trotter rounds 1 and 2. We have 4 round 4 picks. Probably want to look at edges first.
Yep, that's my initial instinct. But also depends on okay.
So Max Llewellyn, Wesley Williams. Some people like Kieran Crawford.
I
And this
mean,
is a round 4 edge board for anybody
yeah.
watching at home.
I mean, Crawford was actually solid at Auburn. He When I went back and watched the Iron Bowl, I was actually out of the country when the Iron Bowl happened, so I actually couldn't watch it. We couldn't do much of anything outside of a few lucky breaks. Crawford played his part. I like Crawford here, even if he is a bit of a reach.
Can we have reaches on day 3? Is there such a thing?
I know, but I was just looking at just at the big board numbers, and it's just the first thing that popped to mind. I like
So,
Wheatley here.
Tim, I like it when you know, like, you see a guy that you like and you're like, okay, he's not getting past me in round 4. I love the way that you think. So this is Cooper, Trotter, Crawford, Wheatley. Got 2 more 4th round picks. We
And
haven't done
now,
offensive line here.
yeah, then immediately the one that pops out of me is Burke out of Memphis.
Travis Burke, tackle from Memphis.
And now the back to back is where things get a bit interesting because uh, let's look at corners real quick.
This is still here at the end of round 4. Devin Moore from Florida is here at the end of round 4. Preston Hodge from Colorado is here at the end of round 4.
Hodge is one of those guys where, in the event that the Niners trade out of the 4th, I feel like he could be there in the 5th. And I kind of want to take that risk of thinking he'd be there in the 5th, assuming the Niners do want to trade out. But given this context, I take the flyer on Hodge.
I think this is his range. He's a slot corner, so he's probably not going to go on day 2,
Yeah,
right? So he's going
yeah,
to go somewhere in round 4 or 5, and you either have to have the depth chart to keep him as your backup slot, or you have to need a slot in order to take him. So makes
yeah.
a lot of sense.
And
Okay,
plus, when you look at slot, our current slot is Upton Stout, and immediately the guy plays tough, but the first thing that everybody looks at, the guy's not that big. He's only 5'8". Hodge has got 4 inches on him at 6 foot. And so I like having a bit more size at the corner position.
corner is the most often injured position in football.
Yep, that's it.
So you need a few corners to get through the season. So this is our 4th and final mock for Fanatic Mode. This is a board that we haven't talked about yet because your wide receivers and tackles aren't here. So the algorithm for Fanatic Mode is different than the first and the second round challenge. So Court was dropping last time. He's not dropping here.
Yeah. I mean, seeing Cedric Falk drop that far makes me think by far best player available. We need an edge. Get that out of the way as quickly as possible.
So we take Keldrick Falk in round 1. We're going to get to the round 2 pick.
What's interesting about the Fanatic Mode is that it kind of forces me to think, okay, position of need is one thing, but suddenly if you have a guy who just drops that far.
Yes. Yes. And if you bump it, like for the podcast, we didn't bump it up to 8. But if you want to try this at home, do 8 4-round mocks, and you're going to find yourself probably mumbling some things around mock 6, like, oh, this is hard.
I'm sending this to a buddy of mine who loves looking at this stuff.
So we're in round 2. The receivers that are available, according to me, the best available receivers would be Ted Hurst or Antonio Williams for the 49ers.
Yeah, I saw Hurst. I'm thinking, yeah, Hurst at the back end of the second round is a pretty solid value if you ask me.
Okay. And then the offensive tackles you're choosing them over are Austin Barber, PJ Williams, Jude Bowery, Demetrius Crownover, which I think all legitimate. You take Ted Hurst.
Yeah. Plus, given the way I've seen the way these mocks have happened, especially the first two, some offensive line talent does fall through the cracks, and I'm kind of excited to see who's available.
So now we have to talk about round 4 offensive tackles because the simulator is also going to snipe some of the tackles that you've already
Yeah,
taken. So if we look, so you can see Perkins you've taken, Kamara you've taken, Crawford you've taken, and
and
I'm looking,
and the
I'm looking
Chargers
to
just took the interior offensive lineman I wanted.
JC Davis. Yep.
Yeah, and so
So
the PJ Williams makes it easy, just best need position available.
Keldrick Falk, Ted Hurst, PJ Williams. We're in round 4. We have 3 more picks to make.
Bishop Fitzgerald at a USC.
Okay. And switch to the board because you've picked a few linebackers.
Yeah,
So for me, I think Kendall Daniels is probably the best available linebacker here.
yeah.
Probably. Kyle Lewis is also here.
Yeah, can you go to interior offensive lineman?
Yep. So Josh Thompson is here in round 4.
Oh, Bryce Foster at the top. That's something I'd definitely be interested in. Yeah, I'll go with Foster actually.
You're gonna go with Foster. Sam Hecht is also here.
Yeah, I mean if we trade down way deep into day 3, I'd take a flyer there. But seeing Foster at this position,
Okay. Final pick. Falk, Hurst, PJ Williams, Fitzgerald, Foster. Looking to see like defensive tackle. I mean, that's a day 3 defensive tackle board. Like I don't see anybody that dropped.
yeah, nobody's really dropped. And now I'm thinking, okay, who do I really want here? Or do I go best position of best player available? But best player available also means kind of double dipping at a position that we already kind of have depth in.
What do you think of Joe Royer, round 4?
Honestly, honestly, the only tight end I really looked into was the one out of Vanderbilt because he gave Bama some nightmares, and he already went, or unless he's still here. Yeah, I think someone already got him. I mean, tight end is not necessarily something I kind of want to look at this point because Todd just has filled in pretty nicely for Kittle, and I think he's going to continue to do that. Running back, I'm not thinking about running backs. I know Shanahan's going to take a running back. I personally wouldn't. I'd go with Masses out of Cal. Corner.
Okay. So we just did 4 mocks here for the 49ers. And if you could pacify me, let's do a 7-round Seahawks mock. And I'm not doing that to troll you. I'm doing that because the Seahawks only have 4 picks.
Yeah,
But
no, you're
I
good.
want to see you San Francisco picks. And there's a good chance that San Francisco is going to pick the players that you like, Rohith.
They took Proctor. Oh no, Cooper. I saw
Cooper.
Proctor's name flash. I'm like, wait.
Yep. And then I'll do Zion Young there. We get to the round 2 pick. They took Derek Moore. Okay. And they need interior offensive lineman.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'd also say they need defensive backs because they just lost Reek Woolen in free agency.
Okay, so round three, 49ers don't have a pick. Going to take Will Lee. So the 49ers just made a slew of picks, and we'll check at the end who those picks were.
Yeah.
I have a high amount of confidence that you will recognize all four of them. And then they need a wide receiver here. Malik Benson fell to round 6. You have to be kidding me.
I did not see that one coming.
No, but this simulator is entirely designed on user behavior. So if people don't pick a player, he doesn't move up, and you get Malik Benson in round 6. So round 4, San Francisco picked Bo Stevens, Treyton Stukes, over Perkins. So you got 1 out of 4,
Yeah, but the positions are kind of what I thought they would be.
right? So let's check out round 5. The 49ers have a round 5 pick.
No, we don't have anything beyond round 4, not this year.
Oh, really? So literally there's no more 49ers picks after this.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So ultimately on this simulator, the more mocks you do, the more the draft board will mimic your picks. So, like you said, you were going to tell a friend, like you are now my favorite person, right? So the more mocks that get done, especially if you have friends for other teams, because now you're mock drafting against each other. Even if you're not using the simulator at the same time, you're saying I value these players at this spot of the draft.
Yeah.
Um, so
And
like for
I
example, not everybody values Derek Moore in round 2. So there's a reason that he's dropping deep into round 2. Now, I've seen Derek Moore on a lot of big boards where he's a top 50 player. But not everybody that uses this simulator that wants an edge is picking Derek Moore in round 2. They prefer Akis or Lawrence or insert this player or insert this player. So there's randomness to this that you won't get anywhere else because it's
yeah,
all about people's opinions. It's not about where is the player on the one big board that the site uses for its mock drafts.
yeah, that's also something I've noticed with other mock drafts is that they're very chalk. They basically look at the combine, they look at basically everything that comes in before and then they're just like, okay, here's what we think every team should do, rather than really asking the fans what they think the team should do, which is a pleasant surprise and definitely something that forces me to think a bit harder.
Yeah. So, Rohith, I appreciate you taking close to an hour out of your schedule. Do you want to introduce yourself to everybody watching? Let them know like about all the 49ers content that you make and the different draft information that's available by you.
I mean, I mostly just tweet about the Niners and either just reacting to the moves they make, talking about the moves I think they should make, and then on occasion I'll talk about some of the draft stuff, post a few mocks. Not always. I kind of want to get more into that, but during the college football season, I mostly focus on Bama ball and SEC ball. So I'll talk about a few SEC guys.
I want to say thank you for coming on the station. For anybody that is watching or listening, Draft Professor is here every day. We have draft shows at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern every weeknight that is original content. We have a group mock draft every Friday night. So Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, stop by the podcast. We always do a 3 round mock. They're always different. We have different people on the podcast making some of the picks. We have followers in the chat making other picks. So our Friday night mocks are always unique. We love doing that. Draft Professor is also the sponsor of Epic Mock 26, which is a 32 podcaster mock draft. That is April 9th, 10th, and 11th. So that will be 32 podcasters mock drafting live against each other. So we'll have a 49ers podcaster on their channel. We have a Buffalo Bills podcaster on theirs, and we've done that times 32 teams. So you'll be mock drafting. You'll recognize the names of some of the people that you're mock drafting against, right? So Jerry Ostrowski, a retired NFL offensive lineman, will be helping make the picks for the Bills. We have Price Carter from Arrowhead Addict making the picks for the Chiefs. So these are really big draft podcasters making the picks for their team. Some are reporters, some are just draft people, but we have a pretty good network of content creators that are helping us pull that off. This is the second year for Epic Mock. So if that's the kind of content that you're interested in, follow Draft Professor. You can follow us at NFL Draft Fanatic, no I in Fanatic on X, the Draft Professor Twitter page. I'm the man or the person or the human behind that page. So feel free to reach out. If you want to do a podcast like this for your team, you can reach out to me as well. I love talking about the Draft Professor Simulator. So I would love to podcast with anybody listening on how the simulator works. Rohith, thank you again for stopping by. I had a lot of
Thank you for
fun.
having me.
Oh, thank you so much. So for Rohith, myself, and the 85 podcasters at the Draft Professor, thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy your Sunday. We will see you on a podcast again in about 1 hour. Thank you, everybody.